Shalom, shalom. This is the brother number one coming to you with another lesson. All through the spirit and power of Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. First and foremost, as always, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rekah HaKodash. And as always, double honors goes to our apostles and our elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect, pushing this word of truth and in sincerity. And also of the elect is the remnant of our people destined for salvation. We must not forget them. So just wanted to do this brief lesson on this guy, this proud Edomite who got filmed or recorded at some sort of conference, lecture, whatever you want to call it, meeting. And he was talking about how basically, us ants, us lower nobodies have gotten too comfortable in our workplaces, and we need to be reminded that we are privileged to be working for whatever companies and bosses that we work for, not the other way around. The bosses shouldn't be feel privileged to have workers, man. And I disagree anyway. Obviously, look, if you're running a business, and you have good workers, that's just gonna make your business run a lot better, man. And that's the bottom line. There's a company in this country, I'm not gonna bother naming it, but they they're handing out bonuses left, right, and centre for their people who work for them, and all sorts of incentives to make the business run accordingly, man. And I even heard the other day that when you reach a certain amount of time after working for the company, for your loyalty, it might not seem much, but really in this world it is. They give you 6 months off paid, man. A 6-month holiday paid, basically. So, there's something to be said for, an employer treating its employees with some kind of respect and, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, you understand what I'm trying to say. Appreciation is the word I was looking for, actually. So anyway, this guy has said all sorts of things. Let's read some of it. So it says, one of Australia's richest men has apologized after he said that unemployment should jump to remind arrogant workers of their place. See that, how he's talking? Alright, so he wants unemployment to come back. He wants unemployment to increase, so people are basically feeling the pinch, like they're not already feeling the pinch whilst working anyway. In this society, you're feeling it already, man. You don't need to be unemployed to feel the pinch. People are working to survive, man. They're not working to live. They're not living, they're surviving, man. He says we need to see pain in the economy, Tim Gurner had said. But Mr. Gurner had later said that he deeply regretted the comments which sparked a global backlash. Well, look, man. He didn't regret saying it. He just regrets that it got put out there and people actually had the mind to go against what he was saying, man. These people sit up on high so much that they think that no one's gonna question what comes out of their mouth. They think they're already in that position of rulership where they can say what they like, man. And remember, that's their end goal, right? Is that rulership of the earth, man. That new world order. That's rulership, man. It's ruling over the masses. And the point I'm making of this video is really, they want this unemployment to occur, man. Right? This is all by design, as usual. Right? Because they want to push people into this unemployment, so they have to start relying on who? The governments of this world, man. The rulers. They got that CBDC coming. They got that universal basic income that they're trialing right now. This is all leading to the chip, man. That free government money, but you'll only be able to use it if you get the chip. That's what's coming, man. He says he had previously made headlines by suggesting young people cannot afford homes because they spend too much on avocado toast. And that's how out of touch these people are, man. Because when people are feeling the pinch, these guys ain't feeling the pinch, man. And a lot of these guys were making more money when the so-called pandemic was going on and stuff like that. They were making more money, man, hand over fist. All right? Depending on what business they're in. It says, speaking during a property summit this week, the 41-year-old said, and this wasn't this week. This is like about a week old, maybe a bit more. It says, said the COVID-19 pandemic had changed employees' attitudes and work ethics for the worst, singling out builders as an example. So, look, man, that is not actually the case. A lot of people went out of business in the C19, and a lot of people were getting paid, man, through furloughed and that. So, what do you expect? But look, at the end of the day, if you want to work in society, that's up to you. But if you do feel like you want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever time you have to get up and work a 10 9 10 hour day, and then you're traveling for 2 3 hours there and back from your work, and you want to do that 5 days a week, that's on you, man. But I don't want to do that. And anyone that's got any smarts, any brains in their head shouldn't want to do that either, man. Because these guys with all the money, they're not doing that. They expect you to do it so you can get the money. Anyway, man, like I was saying, this is all that talk he was talking, man. The unemployment talk. He wasn't talking about, yeah, let's get unemployment up so people can appreciate their jobs. No, they want this, man. Then they can push you into that corner. All right. They want to push you into that corner. And then him apologising is some bullshit anyway, mate. Like I said, he's only apologising because he got caught. Let's quickly read this. This is Sirach 12:10. It says, never trust thine enemy. And he's the enemy. He's an Edomite, man. For like as iron rusteth, and not only is he an Edomite, he's of the elite, so he's definitely an enemy, right? For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Because he's humbling himself now, he's crouching, right? Apologizing, he's acting all meek and that. Oh, it was out of context. I didn't mean, no, man, you meant what you said. You and all your cronies when you have your little meetings and that. You're all of the same mindset, whether or not you plan to be or not. You're all of the same mindset, man. It says, and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Right? Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Because they're always planning. They want everything what everybody's got, man. It's all about plotting and scheming and waiting for the opportunity to take. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Right? So basically, if you go around these people and you trust, like the juice, man, the serpent's juice, man. Like, you trusted them now. If any of you that trusted them with that serpent's juice and you took it, man, that's that serpent and the charmer, man. You trusted them, and now you're gonna get bitten, man. And that venom is coursing through your veins right now because you trusted what they were saying, man. You trusted in that serpent not to bite you, but you can't trust the serpent, man. Its nature is to bite. That's why it has the fangs and the venom, man. That's its nature. So anyway, getting back to the plans, man. And remember, at the end of the day, they got the plans, but the plans ultimately are the plans of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Alright, this is all but the Lord's design, otherwise it wouldn't be in the scriptures, man. Alright, this is all the plan of the Lord, man, to bring this place to its knees before Yahushai comes back, man. It's given the elites the illusion that their plans are coming to pass, man. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And those days are fast approaching, and people are moaning left, right, and center. I want to say moaning because that sounds like it's not warranted, but people are, in a bad way right now, man. They're going to work, working 2, 3 jobs, can't pay the rent, can't feed and heat the house at the same time. It's madness. And you're talking. I'm not talking about in the poorer countries. I'm talking about in the so-called first world countries, man. It says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Right? So this is already a prophecy about lack of that. We're talking about grinding ceasing, man. That means the lack of work, lack of opportunities to make, to make your day to make your daily bread, man, to pay your bills and to buy food and to clothe yourself, right? He says, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. All the shop, all the businesses are closing down. That's already started. They already done a good job during that so-called pandemic, man. They've separated it now completely. They're trying to diminish that so-called middle class. Those that have their own small businesses and whatnot. Making their own means and making their own monies. Right now, it's just they're trying to diminish it, so it's down to just the poor and the elites, man. Because at least if you're in the middle somewhere, you can have some sort of control over your existence. But they did their best to wipe them out, man. It says, and the door shall be shut in the streets, the businesses, and when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So, it's not a time of joy, man, or mirth, a time of, depression, people struggling. And, it's happening right now, but if you don't look around you, you don't see it. If you're not understanding what times we're in, people are walking past people on the streets, so-called homeless people, not batting an eyelid, not realizing that there's an increase in that, and it could be you. That could be you, man. Let's get this. Where do I want to get it from? Yes. Second Ezra 6, I start at 17. It says, and it happened that when I had heard it, no, it's like a. Let me start from 11. Second Ezra 6 and 11 says, and I answered then and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, if I have found favour in thy sight, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou showest me part the last night. So he answered and said unto me, stand upon thy feet, and hear a mighty sounding voice. And it shall be as it were a great motion, but the place where thou standest shall not be moved. And therefore when it speaketh, be not afraid, for the word is of the end, and the foundation of the earth is understood. And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth, and is moved, for it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed. And it happened that when I heard it, I stood up upon my feet, and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh, and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and I will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. Then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. So it says, suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So this is a lack of business, a lack of grinding, a lack of commerce, a lack of opportunities for work, which is coming, man. How else are they gonna force people into taking? Look, there's many ways, but Esau's always slick with it, man. He has to find a way to coerce you, even if it's like he coerced people with the serpent's juice, man. Did he not? Did he not coerce people? You thought you had free will to take it, but really, he didn't give you much choice. When he's telling you can't go here, you can't go there. If you don't do it, you're gonna. If you don't take it, you're gonna die. Blah blah. Or your loved ones are gonna. He put it on. He put you into a guilt trip as well about it, man. So he didn't really give you a choice. You know, there's always a choice, but most of the time, there's only a good choice and a bad choice. And most people don't want to take what they deem to be the bad choice. But us, in this truth, we didn't take that stuff, man. Just like when that chip comes around, we ain't taking it, man. Right? We ain't taking it. Verse 24 says, at that time shall friends fight one against another, like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape, and see my salvation at the end of the world. And that's what we're hoping for, man. It says it, and the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. And that's talking about the elect, man. Because the scriptures tell you the elect shall not taste that second death, man. Or shall not taste death. I'll quickly get that, actually. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared, man. Let's just finish on this one. Lord willing, I'll find it. Let's get this one. Matthew 16:24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. See, we all got a cross to bear, man, in this truth. We all have a cross to bear. Alright? For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. And saving your life in this world could be the fact that you relinquish yourself to this new world order they're trying to, build with this beast system, and give in and take that MOTB, man. Right? There's many ways to try and save your life. Right? Listen, our lives are in the Lord, in the hands of the Lord, man. Alright? It says, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Every man. So according to your works, man. If your works have been good and received, then you'll get fair judgment for that. If your works have been wicked and evil and corrupt and unrighteous, then you're going to get your reward for that. Verse 28 says, Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. So we want to be those people, man. Which means what? You have to go through, all what's coming, man. We have to go through a lot before we get there, man. And I'll just close out on this one. And I'm just gonna read it, and that'll be that, man. Matthew 24:13, it says, But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Alright. So no serpent's juice, no MOTB, no following after the wiles of this world, man. We're all gonna be tempted, as we know, but we have to that hour of temptation, man, is the most. That's the biggest temptation that's gonna come before us, man. Then we're gonna know that right there and then what we're made of, man. Anyway, I'm gonna close out on that, and I was finished by giving all the praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Makah, Lord, and this is edifying, and I'll say shalom until the next one. Shalom.